In this scene we have Sergio in the garage, while Gary and I were inside the two rooms down at the basement. This is what we found. Right off the bat, Sergio picks up on a weird noise. At this point, Sergio didn't see the name Grace in the wall. The name Grace has a story behind it. And here's the story. On the first day of our investigation, we interviewed Mike. Mike was a tenant here. He lived here years ago. He's the one that told us about the story of Grace.
The story goes like this. Lee invites them up for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and they go back and sit down, and they start talking about the home, and apparently this is how I was found out that he was a general and that they both lived here. They were a childless couple, so it was a husband and wife only that lived in this house. And Lee asked him, when he got comfortable with them, did anything ever happen here? Was there ever any spooky, things happen? And according to Lee, if my memory serves correct, the general, in a very gruff tone, said, "No, damn it, things like that don't happen."
Yeah, it was
Army, right?
Right.
To the core. And the wife puts her hand out and says, "Well, now, dear, there was one time." And so what had happened was, she used to have like a sofa and chairs. She would pull the tables and chairs out and dust them, and she'd get the dust bunnies out from underneath the couches. So one day, she pulled the sofa out from away from one of these walls, perhaps this one, and she saw something written in a childish scrawl down close to the baseboard.
Right.
And Lee asked her, well, that's when we found out that they were childless. Did you have kids, grandkids? No, we didn't have any children. And the general is hearing this kind of like for the first time, because she doesn't share this sort of thing with him.
Right.
This doesn't happen in his world. So she cleaned it off, put the couch back, and Lee asked her, "Do you remember what was written?" "Yes, I do." So he said, "Stop." He went and got her a piece of paper and something and a pencil or pen to write with.
Right.
And he said, "Write it down, fold it up, and give it to your husband." And then he went and got the piece of paper. He folded that up and gave it to the husband. They opened it up, and it was exactly the same thing.
Wow.
Now that's weird, but this is going to get just a little bit weirder.
Okay.
It was only one word, and apparently it was a name. And if I have this correct, my supposition is correct, the name was misspelled the same way both times.
Wow.
The name was Grace.
Grace.
And it was spelled G-R-A-C.
Did you get that? G-R-A-C.
No E.
No E. Wow.
So Lee's like...
I personally talked to another tenant that used to live in the house. She told me she used to find Grace written all over the walls at times, misspelled also with an E, but the C backwards. Is this all a coincidence? Who knows? Doesn't look like it though. Sergio picked up another sound. It sounds like somebody saying, "Help." Right after that, Sergio picks up a sound on his DV camera of someone breathing. Gary and I both heard this, and we were in the other rooms.
Was that you breathing? If it was, do it again. Was that you breathing?
I heard.
If it was, do it again.
I heard that.
The kinds of activities that we saw that we couldn't explain.
Right.
were associated with physical phenomena.
Physical.
Right.
Wow.
For example, there's no interior stairway in this house. In order to get to the bottom bedroom, bathroom, and kitchenette area,
Yeah.
and the garage, which operates kind of like a separate apartment,
Yeah.
you have to go outside the house and around either way, either down the stairs or down by the garage.
Right.
And because I've explained to you that we're on campus and we're close to the residence halls,
Right.
my habit would be to lock the front door if I'm going downstairs.
Right.
And there was a period of time that I lived in this house alone. I would be downstairs working on something, and the phone would ring in a little alcove in the hallway back here where there's the only phone jack.
Right.
And I'd hear it ring, and then I'd hear footsteps.
Wow.
And so I'd run around the driveway,
Right.
get up here, unlock the door, go over to the phone because it had stopped ringing,
Right.
and the phone would be off the hook.
That's incredible.
The one thing that gives me a little bit of pause, because I'm a kind of a Missouri kind of guy.
Right.
You gotta show me.
I need to see
believer,
it
but
to
I'm a
believe it.
skeptic,
Right.
right?
Right.
Is that sort of thing had been reported by the previous tenant, who was the superintendent of physical fire.
Mike was happy to share that story with us about the phone. Sergio was downstairs, and on his DV camera, he heard a phone ring with an answer of, "Hello. Is this a residual haunting, or are they playing tricks on us like they did to him?"
But I could have sworn it didn't hurt. A phone ringing.